they tried to slow you down in your recovery. And reading between the lines, it sounds like you kind of fell out with some people during your recovery. What was that about?
Yeah, people. I always felt people were trying to put barriers up in front of me when they were only right, given what I've been through and given that they were only trying to look out for me. But for some reason, I was holding it against people for getting in the way of my dreams, for getting in the way of my goal. For people maybe doubting my drive to overcome everything. And as I said again, that was part of being younger. I do regret putting distance between me and anyone who's ever doubted it or who has ever got in the way, kind of thing.
Was it your drive of getting back on the horse and being successful and living out your dream? That's what put distance between people, you and the people trying to stop you from doing that?
Yeah, basically. And they just cared for, listen, they've seen what my family had been through, that they didn't want me to be, so they didn't want me to do it again and put myself at such risk and put my family at that risk.
You're sitting here today, mate, very eloquent young man, still a young man with a lot of life left to live. And again, this might be hard for you to answer. This might be something that other people have told you since. What are some of the main differences between you pre-accident 11, 12 years ago and you today?
I'm hungrier. I'm just like, if I have a
hungry
goal,
now?
Yes, well, far more. I'm probably a 9 because if I've got a goal, I need to. I've got certain tasks that I have every day that I have to achieve, that I have to do them. Otherwise, I'm unsettled. I'd be far more relaxed when I get one step closer to whatever I'm chasing. If I'm one step closer, if I do something every day that gets me one step closer to it, I'm happy.
I had a guest on my podcast, Sam Ward, who's a British hockey player, plays for the men's GB team, and he's a striker. Now, Sam had a hockey ball smashed in his eye in an Olympic qualifying match in 2020, and he's basically blind in his left eye, very similar to me. Our difference is he got back to playing. Well, I never did, competing. Now, incidentally enough, Sam, he has some vision in his eye, but he's lost some of it. He's became a better hockey player since the injury, madly enough, but also a better person. He says that two-eyed Sam was a wanker, brash, young, cocky, a bit of a dickhead. He said one-eyed Sam, he's all right. He's a nice guy. It's humbled him, made him more driven. He's had to become a better athlete because he can't see as well. So he's faster, he's fitter, he's stronger, takes his nutrition more seriously. But as a person, he's way more humble. He's a nicer person. So it's really interesting how the worst things that happen to us can potentially be the best thing to happen to us. Would you, don't get me wrong, I'm sure you want to kind of take over the last 10 years, but the person you are today now, are you pleased? And what Sam would say, Sam says he'd give all his money in the bank away to have two eyes again, two working eyes, but the person he is now, he wouldn't change that for nothing. Do you feel, is there some similarities there?
Yeah, I'm proud what I've overcome, and I'm proud of the person it's made me. I'd like to think I'm a decent person, and getting into business. I hope that people will hopefully see that I've got good traits. But yeah, listen. It's life. Everyone hits lows in their life, and bad things happen to everyone. It's not just me. It's not just you. But when you've been hit with such a bad thing to happen in your life, and you've been at the bottom, you've been where it hurts, like you've been where no one understands, and to overcome that, and to kind of, for that to give you more strength, and to put all that behind you, I think it's, yeah, you appreciate to be back where you on the track to where you want to be, kind of thing. So yeah, I do agree with everyone that says that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and as I said, what doesn't makes you a better person.
So let's talk about the big comeback. The big comeback. So from accident to getting back on the horse, the first time, not competing, but back on that horse. How long was it? And what was that journey like?
I'd say it was well over a year and a half probably till I got back on a horse. It was difficult because obviously people around me were very worried and thought I was crazy and didn't want to be around me when I was on a horse in case anything bad happened. They didn't want to witness my metal head hitting the ground again. So it was difficult because I felt like I always had to try convince people to let me do it. But as I said, it was my passion, and it was everything that it was all I wanted to do when I got up in the morning. It was my main priority. So it was a lot of fitness. When you're out of the game for long enough, you lose a lot of fitness. It's just like any sports. So I mean, you use muscles in your body for riding a horse that you'd never use in the gym, or that you'd never. It's like it's your body takes a long time to get back into that full strength again. So yeah, I went from being very weak to strengthening up as much as I could. So that takes a long time. But I always had that competitive edge that I didn't forget. I didn't forget the skills you need or what went into it. It just took a long time for everything to fall back into place.
Were you scared when you first got back on a horse?
I don't think so. Obviously, in anything, it takes a long time for confidence. You have to have confidence doing everything. So I guess I can't remember really, but I guess it took a long time to build my confidence back up again and to get back into the swing of it.
Go back on the horse, get back training. When's the first race?
Well, I couldn't reapply for my jockey's license for 2 years after the injury. After a head or brain injury, you can't reapply for 2 years. So it took 2 years to reapply, and in that time I had to get loads of references off doctors and neurosurgeons and loads of tests and fitness tests and a lot of things like that. And finally I convinced the British Horse Racing Authority to let me back on the race course again, to let me back being a jockey. And everyone was against my that decision for me to be allowed back, because they were too worried. But it was, I think, 738 days or something, I think, before I raced again. So yeah, it was a goal achieved.
There's a really famous story, Muhammad Ali, my sporting hero, when he was unable to box for refusing to fight in the Vietnam War. The America took away his passport. He couldn't travel, took away his boxing license. Couldn't really earn any money. He went from being one of the most richest athletes in the world to being skint, to being broke. So Joe Frazier, who became the next heavyweight champion, who they obviously had 3 fights, Ali and Frazier, 3 fights. They had 2 competitors. Titans went against each other 3 times. Joe Frazier gave Muhammad Ali money just to live because he was skint. Did you get much support from the horse, from the racing community during this time? Financially, like, how are you coping? How are you surviving? You're a professional athlete, but you can't compete. How are you making money? Who supported you? Did British racing do enough?
Oh, loads. I mean, we've got professional riders insurance scheme. We got injured jockeys fund. Listen, people have been incredibly kind to me, and yeah, we're lucky that because professional riders insurance scheme, we still, obviously, if you're out of work, if you out of work through injury or through illness, we're lucky that we're on a wage, etc. So yeah, that was never a worry. That's there for us, and the kindness was incredible.
That's amazing to hear. And anybody on the British Boxing Board of Control or in British boxing or in world boxing need to listen to this and do something about the support the boxers get, or the lack of support the boxers don't get, because we don't get anything. Nothing. Like, it's so bad. And as I said, we need to learn from British racing, because it's disgusting how poor the sport is from the British Boxing Board of Control. They take the British Boxing Board of Control take a percentage of each boxer's purse. If you're a journeyman or if you're Tyson Fury boxing for millions of pounds, they take a healthy percentage and offer no support boxers when a boxer suffers an injury, especially a brain injury. So that's really good to hear that you've supported so well.
Whatever grade of a jockey you are, that's there for you. And yeah, a little percentage of our riding fee, of our wage, goes into an insurance scheme. I'm surprised that's any different in boxing, in your industry. I mean, it's however length the injury is, or however bad it is, they're there for you. They're there for your family. It's incredible, and it's dead right.